Welcome back to Boy Band Break, where we encourage you to take a break and enjoy some boy band talk. My name is Diane.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Chinzia.
And once again, we have our special guest from Dorkalicious.
Thank you. This is Lydia. It's wonderful to be back. Thank you.
Yay, Lydia.
Woo.
I can't believe it's our 8th episode, and if you are still with us and you've been here for 8 episodes, oh my gosh, we love you so, so much. All right, topic of the day. New Kids on the Block.
Yes!
Hanging
Yes!
tough.
They have some very exciting stuff coming up, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Oh.
But I feel like it's an appropriate time to discuss New Kids on the Block.
Yay!
Agreed.
So, first question as always. When is the first time you heard or saw New Kids on the Block?
I can tell you. So Chinzia and I, when we were younger, we used to camp out at Much Music quite a bit. For wristbands, for Hanson, for everything.
Serial Joe.
Serial Joe. Yeah, it was mostly Serial Joe, let's be honest here. So we had this Fisher-Price tape recorder. And this was before the times of smartphones and everything, mind you. So at one point, sleeping overnight in Toronto is not fun. It gets cold. You start to hallucinate. It's not a great time. But
there's hobos.
Yeah, it's weird. You get people heckling and you have to sit on the street.
But there was usually a security guard around Much Music, so it's not like we were in danger.
No, I know. That's true. So we had this single, this tape.
Cassette tape
of Hangin' Tough. And then on the B side it was something else, right? So we would spend the night rewinding and listening to it, and I'm just Hangin' Tough, and then
I legit do not remember this.
Oh, that was my, because sorry, I'm 85er, so it was kind of before my time a little bit, so that's the only reason why I knew who they were, is because we had this cassette tape that was keeping me safe from hobos during that time.
I'd also like to point out that our mom did not let us listen to music during that time, which I had pointed out in a previous episode. So the only thing I remember about New Kids on the Block is our friend Teresa St. Julian was obsessed with them. And she was my brother's age, so she's 3 years older. And she had the New Kids dolls and stuff, but we had no idea. We're are those Barbie dolls? And she's they're New Kids on the Block. We're okay.
We were forced to listen to Oldies 1150 because it was wholesome music with no swearing and sexiness.
It's because Mom wasn't allowed to listen to oldies when she was a kid, so that's why. Anyways, back to you guys.
Had to balance out. I think I talked about when I first was
your traumatic
my traumatic grade 2 experience.
What happened to you in grade 2?
She just wanted to read.
I just wanted to read, and my reading buddy wanted to listen to New Kids on the Block.
Oh, idiot.
So I'm going to say it was mostly my cousin introduced me to New Kids on the Block, but it was really too young for that band.
Yeah,
really.
right? It's our time zone was different.
I remember her giving me a New Kids on the Block wallet because she would collect everything that they had out.
Genius in the merch department.
Right,
those guys.
Absolutely. Woo. So that's basically when I did. But yeah, that's before my time.
Yeah.
Right? I know.
We were a little bit behind on the New Kid. I think they came out before we were even born, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
83, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was
And then I think they broke up in 92, no?
I think so. Yeah, you're right, 92.
And then,
right around the time of my traumatic experience.
There you go.
And then I didn't start listening to music until 96, so there you go. So that's why we totally missed it.
Good thing they reunited.
Yes.
Good thing.
And I think it's up, 10 years now since they've been reunited?
Yeah.
I feel like they're better now than
they're amazing.
They're pretty good.
John can be his true self. Everyone can be more true.
And I think that's amazing that is that's where society is nowadays. Because I'm sure if that would have happened back then and he came out, then it obviously caused him a lot of stress. And that's one of the reasons why he left the group, because he was so stressed out that people were going to know that he was gay. But now everyone's yeah, it's amazing. Harley's amazing. Look, you guys are on The Amazing Race. This is
And I really enjoyed the New Kids on the Block Backstreet Boys tour. I really like that they came together and did that.
NKOTB.
And I know a lot of people were not fans of that happening.
In the beginning, I wasn't really a fan of them. I sat down for all.
It was amazing.
You did.
Because we went to 7 shows?
I went to 8 shows, but yes, close enough.
And
when they say they mean Sophia and Shinzia.
I hated it. I went to it 8 times.
it was like the one time I told
the Backstreet Boys. That's basically
Yeah.
why
but
I
like,
went.
and I was like, oh, I like these New Kids songs. So I'd stand up and Sophia would be like, I'm sitting down, and like the New Kids fans would be sitting down during the Backstreet songs.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the tour,
But literally by the 8th show, I was like,
Sophia's
okay,
like,
I can listen
woo!
to these
Oh.
songs. I like the fast songs. The
Yeah.
slow songs, I still kind of like sat down, but like
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
appreciate
it was pretty
the
entertaining.
music. So yes.
Okay, so since we're on that topic, Sophia, what's your favorite New Kids on the Block song?
Okay. Hanging Tough is a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
From back in the day. I think the newer one, Dirty Dancing, is a good song.
Oh, that is a good song.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Lydia?
Oh, okay. Are we talking about old or new?
Anything. Favorite song?
Okay. I'm going to tell you, Full Service
Hell yeah!
makes me drool. Like, if I was a stripper, that would be my song. That would
I
be
feel
my...
like that'd be good for a male stripper though.
No, but like...
Like a Magic Mike thing.
Okay, so let me, like, you know...
Paint
Set
the
the scene.
picture.
this.
Paint the
Picture
picture.
this dark seedy club with like crappy lighting, and then like, you know, the DJ, and then like I'm on stage, and then I'm in like a mechanic like jumpsuit with like a really ridiculously large wrench, and like I'm dancing to this song, and then like
I also
slowly-
feel like you'd need like a
Comically
gas, like
Oh my god, you would totally like do the hand gestures and
Toes.
everything. Yeah,
You know,
you would
just
be all
like-
for it.
oh man,
Yeah.
Full Service is my absolute fave.
That's a good song.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That
and
is
then,
a
like,
really good
of their
one.
older stuff, you know, like the right stuff.
Right Stuff is pretty good. Yeah.
the right stuff.
Let's not get sued. Shinzia?
Okay.
I like a lot of them, but Step by Step is really good. I like
Is
that.
Is that because John
He
sings it?
does sing Step 5. Don't you know
Voice
that
of an
the time has
angel.
arrived? And speaking of the voice of an angel, We Own Tonight was also a very good song
Yes.
because he also has
That was
2
good.
lines in
That
it.
was fun.
And it's beautiful. And it's just like,
I wanted that
We
to be
used
my
to sing
wedding
that song
song,
all
and Kenny
the
said
time
no. He's
during
like,
that tour.
Backstreet only. And I was
did I
like,
use that in the slideshow though?
I don't
Can't remember.
I don't
That's
know.
a good song. And then I remember hearing it like randomly at Yogurt's, and I was just like, what? And like every time I'd go in, they'd be playing like the New Kids, and I was like, are they just like, do they have a CD back there, or what's going on? I'm like,
Maybe the owner was a secret New Kids fan.
it's good stuff, man.
It was
So-
a pretty good song.
That is
We
a good
always used to sing.
but like honestly, all of their
La,
classics
la,
are.
la, la,
Oh,
la,
that one, I like
Tonight.
that.
Yeah, that one.
And I would sing it 2 nights.
Yes.
Oh.
His 2 Night Brothers.
And then it sounded like it was saying
Oh,
Oreo.
Shinzia.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the you know, oh, you people, can't you see? Can't you
The
see?
mashup?
NKOTB.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God! And the other song that they
Speaking
did.
of
What's that
which-
other song?
My favorite New Kids on the Block song. Don't turn out the
Lights
Oh,
now,
that
lights
one's so
now,
good.
Lights now.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a good one
that's
too.
a sexy one.
Yes.
Ooh, and
I
like
mean,
Nick has some good
maybe
lines in
it's-
there.
Maybe it's because Backstreet Boys are featured on the
100%,
track.
yeah.
Oh,
But like
no.
literally every
God.
time I listened to that CD and that song would come on because it was between the like this is a New Kid song,
Yes.
this is a Backstreet
Yeah.
Boy. I'm
They
like.
mashed it up
I
very
was
well.
who sings this song? And Gina, every single time we're like, you've asked me this 5 to every single time. She's like, both of them are singing this song. And I was like, this is a really good song.
It
This
is
should have
a
been a
good
single.
song.
And she's like,
Yes.
Did they release it, or was it just like
It was on
we
the
made
CD.
this
It was
song
just
for
on-
fun?
It was CD only because like if like on iTunes, like if you bought like individual songs, you couldn't unlock that song unless you bought the whole album.
Oh,
Sneaky.
But they performed it on Dancing with the Stars.
so good.
Yeah.
Did they?
I don't know.
Yeah, they did.
The
Yeah, they
lights.
did.
Damn, I gotta
Yeah,
see
they
that.
did.
I missed that. YouTubing that later.
What's your favorite New Kids on the Block video? They have more. They have a lot.
Interesting.
I don't think
Have
I've
I
seen
watched
them. I know the music and not the.
You
You don't have to have one.
Can I have my
can't
least
remember.
favorite?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it because John doesn't do anything in this?
I don't know. Hold on. Now I'm not. I'm
Is it-
wondering if it's the same. If I'm thinking of the right one. Oh,
my God,
I don't
I
like
hate
that
that
one.
song.
Oh, I
Sorry?
hate that song.
What?
And Please Don't Go Girl.
No, that's my favorite video. I don't love the
Is that the
song
one
so
where they're
much.
all wearing sweaters and they're going after one girl?
Yeah, and they all have roses, and I find it hilarious because Joey McIntyre is like 10. And he's
so
has this
young.
rose, and this woman is like a grown woman. And
Whoa.
he's like, "Please don't go, girl." I'm like, is that your babysitter?
Maybe.
Amazing. I don't know. I need
man.
to like watch.
Oh my god,
I
it's
don't
so
even know.
funny. That's my favorite video. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Have they made
What's
any
the
new
one-
ones? Like, no offense. Like, Or are they just
Not new ones.
Yeah, okay. Like, what's the newest?
What's the
new
new
one?
song that they did a video
I
for?
don't know. I'll check their,
good
their
question.
Full
YouTube
service
account.
a song?
No, I wish it
Oh,
was.
that
Dirty
would
Dancing? How about Dirty Dancing?
I know there's a
possibly.
dance. There's a dance.
I love
but
that.
think
I always would dance in the
Yeah.
concert.
Yeah,
to that one. I was like,
man.
you taught me the car dance. So whenever
I
it
love
was
it.
at like a turning, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm
What's
doing the
another
dance.
one?
you got to do
part.
the heart, the dance arm thing.
It's part of
She's
it.
doing a left turn. All right, it's up to me.
Lydia, you got to like bring it in,
You
man.
gotta do it.
I
don't
Just
know.
checking quickly.
Like, okay, if you check their Vivo, do they do like the cheating one where it's like lyrics one? It's like that does not count.
Yeah, no,
that doesn't
I'm
count.
skipping that.
Okay, good.
Like
Like actual. Oh yes, you know what? I know the last one they made was probably like the chubby lady was like,
Oh, the
They're like,
remix.
yes.
They made a fan
I like the remix, baby.
Oh.
yeah,
That was
they
okay.
Did, they did one
What was
for
that song? They did like a fan one too, no?
Think About You in Summertime.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's a
years
good one.
ago.
Yes, that's a good one.
And
When they first came back.
Whoa, yeah.
a song
you're
with
right.
Neo, Single. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Single.
Single. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, I think so.
No. it's not.
Okay, I don't know.
I feel like those are the
yeah, the
last
remix
two
one, I like that.
Summertime was pretty good.
I have to. Okay,
The song, not the
My-
video,
my-
because I don't think
the
that's
video for I like the remix.
Oh, remix was 5 years ago.
Oh,
Oh my god, really?
time. Is that with the fans? Is that's the one with the fans?
That's
right?
the last real
It was like
video. yeah.
the protagonist was like the chubby woman who was in
Yeah.
the mirror, and then she's like, I'm just gonna put water on my hair and be like, bleh!
And then
like
it's magically
jumped into
she
a pool.
appears.
yeah, like
She,
it just like so like I get it. Like finally she was like filled with her own confidence, but a little lipstick would have been nice. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I was like, this is a really good video, but okay there.
I wingtips and some lipstick, and I would have like been like, okay. But the whole point was that you didn't need this crap.
Yes.
Like it was within her. The change was within inside of her. That was the
is
remix.
so beautiful.
Yes.
So like that was
Thank you, Lydia.
that was like a slap on the wrist for me. And like Lydia, that's very what's it called?
Superficial?
Surface. Very. Thank you. It's very superficial. Very surface. That was not cool. So they taught me a lesson about life. Thank you.
All right. So there's a fire.
Oh my
Chinzia,
god!
who are you
Stupid!
saving?
Like pick your favorite boy
Okay,
band.
can you say them all again? Because
Okay, so Donnie Wahlberg,
the Wahlbergers.
Can I say my
Yes.
least favorite?
Joey McIntyre.
Which one's
He's
that
the
one?
blue eyes. He's the younger one.
The youngest
He's like
one.
the
The-
Nick
the-
Carter
so
of the
Donnie
group.
Wahlberg
was
is
he like the?
He's
He's
the Nick
together.
Carter.
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
Okay,
he
okay.
drags that out for about 2.5
Yes,
minutes.
I know.
During that concert, it was horrible.
Oh, that was.
He has very
ridiculous.
pretty blue eyes, though.
He does.
Sorry,
what
then
was
we
his
have
name again?
that's Joey
Joey
McIntyre.
Okay, the first one was a Wahlberger,
Donnie Wahlberg. He's married to Jenny McCarthy.
and he was on the TV show, and he has the restaurant.
Yes.
That is okay. Good sauce.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we have Danny Wood. He's the one who works out a lot.
Who looks?
He's my least
Yes.
favorite. Right?
Okay. Yes.
Then we have the brothers. So we have John Knight, who has sparkly eyes.
There's nothing.
And then we have Jordan. Yes.
Okay, okay.
And then we have Jordan Knight, who did the Nick and Knight tour with Nick Carter.
Mops
He
and
also
Dongs
did
tour?
Cover Me
Yes,
Canada.
the Mops and Dongs tour.
Okay.
He also did Cover Me Canada
Oh.
that
yeah.
Chins and I went to.
Oh.
Sorry, I was just thinking about Mops and Dongs.
Long story. Sorry. And is that all of them?
That's all of them.
Okay. No. I got. Okay. So the two knights, the muscly guy, the young one, and
Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie Wahlberg. The hamburgers. Got it. Okay.
Chinzia, who are you saving?
Saving John,
Of course you are. What a shock.
but with like Donnie in the background.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really like Donnie, and I really like his positive messages on Twitter. I don't know if that's going to be a question later, but he's like, I feel like he is very fan oriented and very like love oriented. Like he always like
Very
he does
sociable.
twags. Is that what they're called?
Twags,
He goes
yes,
like
he
Twitter
does,
hugs.
yes.
They're Twitter hugs, and he'll be
Oh.
like, and he's just like, I'm pretty sure he also did like some fan bus experiences.
He did, yeah.
What?
In which he like you could go on the so let's say they were doing a concert in New York. I think it was in Boston, but the bus left from New York. So you would get on the bus with Donnie
What?
and he would
Yeah.
like be there with you.
What?
One way, like on the way back, he's not on the bus on the way back.
Whoa.
But like literally would hang out with those whatever 50 some odd people on that bus and like take pictures and like he's very like he's done things where he's like sat in lobbies of hotels and they've just chatted, or they're really big on Waffle House. So after concerts they'll go to Waffle House and like hang like and he'll just like hang out with people, and he doesn't say which one he's going to, so they just kind of guess, but like
It's more like authentic.
but it's really cool. So I really appreciate his fan experiences and stuff like that. So
I'm going to choose Donnie as well.
Okay.
When I met him, he was very nice, and I got a picture with him. And I like that he's accessible, and he's all about the fans.
He really cares. Like, it seems
He
like
does.
he
Very
genuinely
genuine,
cares.
caring person.
Lydia, you have a favorite?
Okay, so not Muscles, because he eats too healthy and I'd feel like self-conscious. The young guy can be like a little bit annoying, so no offense. Let's see here. The other brother, so who's left?
You have John
Donnie.
and
No,
Donnie.
not John. That's Chilia's thing. She's saving him. She's fine. I'm gonna go for
Oh, that's a good point. We could all work together and save different
yeah.
members.
Like, is that like a hack? Can we do that now?
So Donnie.
I'm asking you what your favorite
John.
member is, and the only reason I bring up the fire and drowning and whatnot is because these guys are like, oh, I love
I'd
them
save them all. I put them on a rope and hold them with my superhuman strength.
So essentially, Lydia's going to save Donnie because of the burgers.
Oh my god, the tater tots, the sauce. It's just like the atmosphere.
Supply,
of the
right?
room.
Just
Like,
saying that Paul is the brother that actually does the cooking and stuff. So
Yeah, but Donnie will be there to
Donnie
help
would,
out.
yeah,
There you go.
and something about the fan experience. And the secret sauce is really good. The atmosphere is great. He's employing his other less employed brothers. He is a man of the people. So I'm going
Good
with Johnny.
job.
what did Diane say?
Plus, you could get closer to Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Is that Marky Mark the Funky
Yeah.
Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want
He's
to get
the
close to the
actor.
chef. Who's that guy? Is
Paul.
he single?
His name? No, I believe he's also married.
Ah, you're married. I know.
Oh yes, you are married.
Sorry, Kenny.
Good thing he's not going to
Okay,
be
did Diane save anybody?
I think I'd save John also. He used to be really funny on Twitter. I'm sad
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's never on Twitter anymore.
What happened?
He was like hilarious.
He actually
I don't
tweeted
know.
me because I've always wanted to go on a New Kids cruise, and those things sell out like no tomorrow.
Hotcakes.
And then I can never find anyone to go with me because they're also expensive.
Yeah.
But I've like heard of them, and they're amazing, like crazy.
Wasn't like the yoga, like
Yes, that was something else. Yes, but anyways, so John had said something along the lines of, the cruise or whatever, and then I had responded, I really want to go on the cruise one of these days, and then he responded back to me, well, we're not getting any younger. With a bunch of laughing faces.
Yes.
And he's like,
hashtag truth.
and then him and
He's so
Kirstie Alley
funny.
had this like
Oh
thing going
my
on for a
God.
while.
They have like,
Oh my
a
God.
love
Funny
affair, not
together,
an
yeah.
actual love affair, but like.
But yes,
It was
they
like
had
a bromance.
Yeah, like
a
romance.
A
Yeah.
bromance. She's
was
a
like-
woman.
Titmans.
I said it was like a bromance.
Titmans. Yeah.
I don't think that's called
No,
that,
I
buddy.
know.
So what is it, like women and a man?
Okay,
It's like
doesn't matter.
Oh,
a friendship?
It's like a
Do you call it a friendship?
friendship.
You call it a
goal.
friendship?
I called it a friendship.
Oh,
Friendship
yeah.
goal. There you go. Friendship
Sorry.
goal.
Friendship.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Are you happy
hashtag-
now, Diane?
Yes.
Damn it.
So only Donnie and John are surviving.
Sorry.
Lifetime
Let's
supply.
face it.
Tater tots. Yeah.
Oh my god. guys.
Hashtag priorities.
John won't eat there because he's a vegan.
And he raises chickens and birds scare the crap out of me. So I'm not really sure if this is where we want to go with that. But
That's all good.
Harry, any good New Kids on the Block memories you want to mention?
I ate at Wahlburgers at an airport, and it was a very, very positive experience.
This podcast is not sponsored
No,
by
sorry,
Wahlburgers.
no. It came with like this dip, and it was so good. And like it was like, this is going to make my trip. And like, the trip was a very positive trip, and I think this Wahlburgers helped. So thank you.
I would also like to point out that we're recording this around dinner time. If that has
Yeah.
any
God,
sort
oh God.
of indication.
Sorry.
I as we know, as I've mentioned, New Kids weren't always my favorite. I have to appreciate that they were the OG boy band. Like
The G-Bo?
OG. Like
Oh,
original.
there. Sorry, yes. Sorry. I thought I'm like, oh, this internet slang.
OG.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. They are the OG. Wait. Hold on. Isn't the Beatles the OG?
No, but
Come
like,
on.
we're
No,
not
like,
a boy
considered
band.
boy band.
Modern day boy
Okay,
bands.
fine. Very well.
Like the 5-piece, different personalities,
Yeah.
dancing, singing,
Matching outfits. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It
fair
was New Kids.
enough. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
So I have to give them props for that. And I mean, they are like so interactive with their fans. They're so great. They, so I appreciate them more in my older age.
Yeah.
My older age now that one of my favorite memories is from last year, 2 years years ago when Chinzia calls me up one day and is like, so there's a New Kids on the Block concert starting in 2 hours.
That was last year.
You want to buy tickets and go? I'm like, sure.
And we relate to the concert because we were doing a boy band pool for in real life, and we tweeted Nick, and he tweeted us back. We're like, oh my god, we're late for this concert.
We were so late. We show up like halfway through, but
it was still an amazing concert.
It was still a fun time, and we paid what, $50 for the tickets?
Ooh, I think
like
so.
2 hours before the show, and we
were like
close.
fifth row. It was amazing,
awesome.
like on the side.
Ooh, yeah.
And when we showed up, the girls were like staring at us,
like this concert is halfway done. What the heck are you guys doing here? We're like, these are our seats. And all of our favorite songs were played in the second half. So we're like, this is perfect.
Awesome.
It works out great.
Perfect.
And
Well,
John totally walked right by, and we were like, John, and he like waved.
Well, like you're missing the opening act, right? I mean, like that's usually like the majority of the first half, right?
Yes.
Who do you know who it was? By the way,
There was that was the one with Paula Abdul
Oh,
and
yeah,
Boyz II
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that.
We're like,
Yeah,
we've seen
yeah.
them before.
that was when like she had like her own reality show and she went like kind of off the deep end. Like it was during that time, so like the fandom for Paula Abdul was very like hit or miss. It's like either like you loved her and you support her, or you're like she's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay,
do not remember
quick. What makes New Kids on the Block great?
Wait, we didn't say our memories. Anybody?
Oh, sorry. Anyone else
No,
have
I
good
got
memories?
nothing, man.
What's a good memory?
Did you enjoy the wall breaker?
Absolutely, it was awesome. For the NKOTB speed tour, I got a picture with Donnie in Ottawa. I almost missed the opportunity, and then he came with his bike, like riding to the fans, and I was
bicycle?
like, "I'm gonna go!" And then, like, I got to him like right away because he's very, as you say, personable with the fans and wants to take pictures. So I was able to get a picture.
I have a couple of John ones I'm going to mesh into one. So one, we were at something and he was walking by, and then I was like, oh, I missed John. And then he saw that I was holding up his picture, so he came and like grabbed my hand and like kind of pushed me into a half wall and gave me a hug. And then we went to an autograph signing at the Pickering Town Center and waved, and he waved back, which wasn't as exciting as when I actually paid to get the meet and greet. So I was so excited because, you know, you have to pair up with which guy you're going to go with. And I'm like, I just want John, so I don't care who everybody else has. So I get to, like, I hug everybody, and John's at the end. And I'm like, hey, John, I'm with you. And he's like, hey, what's up? I was playing, and he was on his phone, and I was like, oh, okay. So then he, like, the other girls came, and he gave them a hug, and then he looks up at me, he's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, good. And so he gives me a hug, and I was like, this is awkward. And it was just like, it was fun, but and then he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Hamilton. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I think I have some relatives in Hamilton. And I go, oh, okay. And he's like, do I have relatives in Hamilton? And I go, I don't know. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. And then like gives me a hug and leaves. And I was like, that was weird, but okay. So then during the concert, I'm in the back row on the floor, and there was only 4 rows. And I literally, and because he's an older gentleman, made a sign that all it said was John. It was very specific that this sign was going to be for John. And I knew that he was coming out on my side, so I was like super pumped. So he comes out into the crowd, and instead of facing the chairs towards the stage, he's facing like the big audience, like in the thing. So I was like, okay, that's fine. He'll come back. And he just kind of like looks and whatever and goes. And like high-fiving people and stuff, and then everybody else is doing their part. And then he comes back, and now I'm like literally standing there right there. And he's like, so I have my sign, and then he like shakes hands of the Joey McIntyre fans beside me and whatever, literally shakes all of them, gets to me, skips over me, and goes to the person on the other side. And then I was like, what the fuck? And then I guess he must have heard me and saw my sign and turned around and was like, oh, hey, and then pulled me in for a hug and like kissed me on the cheek and gave me like a hug and then like walked away.
Cute.
And I was like, thanks, John. He's like, yeah, and he like walked away. And then I was like, did anybody see this? And then I'm like looking, and like literally nobody was looking. And I was like, maybe somebody will have it on tape. Well, of course not, because John is at the end. Everybody's filming Joey McIntyre and Donnie Wahlberg. And I was like, nobody saw this happen. And then my one friend in the 300, she's like, oh, I saw when John kissed you. I was like, okay, did you get a picture? She's like, I absolutely did not. I was like, whatever, it happened. So that was my favorite. So
Excellent.
Okay,
he gives good
we'll
hugs.
briefly skip over what makes them great because we're over time, but I feel like we've gone over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The OG boy
the
band.
music, their
Yeah.
personalities, everything.
So next week, New Kids on the Block are having a one-night only show in New York City at the Apollo Theater.
Oh.
Chinzia and Sophia will be there.
45 minutes on Ticketmaster. Refreshing. And we finally were able to go by buying single tickets. So we're on 2 opposite ends of the theater, but it doesn't matter. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. So I'm like, hey, fam, we're having Thanksgiving on Saturday because I'm going to New York on Sunday. And then they have a big announcement on the Monday. So we have no idea what that is, but we're assuming it's at one of the shows. So we're just going to camp out and see what it is. Hopefully a new album and concert.
The cruise is coming up October 18th to 22nd.
They have
it is sold out, but
and it's the 10th
such
one.
FOMO, like fear of missing out. Like,
you know
every
what?
time.
Backstreet can take a page out of New Kids
They are
when it comes to their cruises. New Kids.
Okay, so Lydia's only been on the original Backstreet Boys cruise, so I understand where you're coming from. They have gotten way better, but definitely New Kids know how to party and they know how to like be there with their fans and stuff.
Definitely.
So one of these days we're gonna get on that cruise.
Better,
and it's gonna be amazing.
All right, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Thanks for taking a break with us, and we'll see you next week.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.